Hey.
Oh, hi, what's up?
So, listen. I was supposed to read Pride and Prejudice for school, and I have an essay due tomorrow, and I still haven't read it, so I was wondering...
You want me to tell you what the plot of the book was?
Please.
Okay.
Basically, this book is all about getting married. Wait, that's it? Yeah, pretty much. The Bennets have 5 daughters: Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Lydia, and Kitty. Jane and Elizabeth are the mature older sisters. Kitty and Lydia are the silly, obsessed with love younger sisters. And Mary is the middle child, so you can just forget about her, everyone does.
Wait, what?
Now, because the Bennets have no sons, when Mr. Bennet dies, his money will not go to his daughters, but instead to a cousin.
Oh, hello.
No, it's not your turn yet.
No, but...
No, look, just take this and get out. I will call you when I need you. Anyway, to ensure that their daughters don't become poor, the Bennets want to find them a wealthy man to marry, because it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of great fortune must be in want of a wife. And they're in luck, because a new rich bachelor just moved nearby, Mr. Bingley.
Hi.
And the girls will have a chance to meet Mr. Bingley at his ball, where they also meet Mr. Bingley, his sister Caroline, and his stoic friend, Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Bingley, I wanted to introduce you to my daughters. They are very available and desperate, it would seem. Don't you agree, Mr. Darcy? I'm Jane.
Wonderful to meet you.
You as well. I'm Elizabeth, by the way.
Nice to meet you too. I'm Lydia. I'd make a great wife.
I'm Kitty.
I'd be a better one.
I'm Mary.
If anyone was interested. You know, I really like Jane Bennet. She's just wonderful. What about you, Dorothy? Anyone catch your eye tonight? I don't know. Her sister's just not pretty enough for me to be attracted to.
Soon after, Caroline Bingley invites Jane to visit.
Mother, can I take the carriage?
No. Jane, dear, it is much better for you to walk.
It's supposed to rain. What if I get sick?
One can only hope.
What?
And Mrs. Bennet got her wish, because by the time Jane arrived at the Bingleys, she was already sick. Because in those days, if you so much as touched rain, you'd get gravely ill. Dear Elizabeth, I'm ill. Love, Jane. So Elizabeth went to go take care of her. But when she arrives, she finds not only the Bingleys, but also Mr. Darcy.
Oh. Hiya! You know, I like a woman who reads. I think reading is the most enjoyable activity in the world. Nothing can beat it. Don't you agree, Miss Bennet?
Mm-hmm.
Reading is such a fulfilling activity. I can think of nothing I would rather do. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Darcy? Yes. Might try doing some right now. I'm bored. Elizabeth, take a turn around the room with me.
Mr. Darcy, would you care to join us?
No, thank you. I have the perfect view right here.
Once the Bennet sisters return home, they are visited by their cousin, Mr. Collins.
Now?
Yes, now. Mr. Collins is a clergyman who lacks conversational skills.
Might I say, these potatoes are excellent. Some of my best friends are corn farmers, of course. Well, not my best friend. And that was the first time I ever tried a carrot. You ever had a bean?
But Mr. Collins will be inheriting Mr. Bennet's property, so they do their best to make him feel welcome. To make at least one Bennet heir to the Bennet property, Mr. Collins has come to marry one of his cousins.
Mrs. Bennet, I'd like to propose to your oldest daughter.
Mr. Collins, we are flattered, of course, but my daughter Jane, she's almost engaged.
Oh, she is.
I am? She is. To Mr. Bingley.
Oh, I don't know if I'd say we're practically engaged.
Well, I would.
Oh, yes, I would. I mean, there's practically already a ring on my finger.
However, you could, of course, try Elizabeth.
So Mr. Collins sets his sights on Elizabeth. Meanwhile, the Bennet sisters meet the charming Lieutenant Wickham in town. He and Elizabeth very quickly bond over a shared enemy.
Isn't Mr. Darcy just the worst?
I am so glad that you said that.
He once denied me my rightful inheritance.
Oh, that does sound like him, the little jerk.
He also kicked my dog.
Well, why would he do something like that?
Who even knows?
It's time for another ball, this time at the Bingleys, and Elizabeth is trying to avoid pretty much everyone.
Miss Bennet, may I have this dance?
Oh, I
I don't know. Oh, Lizzie, I have a question for you. You know what? Yeah, let's dance.
So, kick any dogs recently?
What? You heard me. No.
Good answer.
I thought I was bad at small talk.
But the longer they danced, the more they felt attracted to each other, despite the fact that he didn't think she was attractive, and she thought that he was a dog kicker. And neither of them knew how to make small talk. Elizabeth also successfully avoided Mr. Collins.
Miss Elizabeth, no!
The next day at home, however, she could not avoid him.
Oh, Miss Elizabeth, I have a question for you. Hold on. As I said, I wanted to ask you. Oh, I'm supposed to be on my knees, aren't I? Yeah. Okay. Miss Elizabeth, will you do me the honor of marrying me?
Oh, no thank you.
What? What?
Mrs. Bennet took the rejection the hardest out of everyone.
There, darling. It really is for the best.
Mr. Collins got over it pretty quickly and became engaged to Elizabeth's friend, Charlotte Lucas. But this isn't the only loss in love.
Jane, what is it? The Bingleys have to return to London. What if I never see him again? Okay, how about you go to London after them?
Well, I don't know if I know him that well. Honestly, Elizabeth, that seems a little bit stalkerish.
Jane, our aunt and uncle live in London. If you go and stay with them for a while, maybe you just happen to bump into the Bingleys and you can reconnect.
But it's all for naught. Months pass by and Elizabeth visits the new Mr. and Mrs. Collins where they live with Mr. Collins' patron, Lady Catherine. But she's not the only guest.
Oh. Hello. Hello.
Hi,
Mr. Darcy?
Miss Bennet. Colonel Fitzwilliam.
Elizabeth continues to ignore Mr. Darcy, but gets to know his cousin.
He is a bit of a grump, but he is actually quite a nice man.
I find that hard to believe.
No, really. He actually just recently saved his friend from a very undesirable match. What was her name again? Bentley...
Bennett?
No, that doesn't sound right.
Mr. Darcy?
I'm so
I
glad
have
you're
something
here.
to
I have
ask
something to
you.
ask. Me first, please. Miss Bennet, your family is awful. They are silly and embarrassing and frankly not rich enough for me, nor high enough on the social ladder. I'm sorry, is there a question in there somewhere?
But despite that,
I love you. Most ardently. Will you please do me the honor of marrying me?
is this a joke? You come here and insult my family to me and you expect that to be what, romantic?
Was it not?
No. Well, let me tell you what I think of you. I think you are a horrible, horrible man, and I could never love you. In fact, you would be the last person I would ever love. I could never be with someone who would cause my sister so much heartbreak, or deny Mr. Wickham his inheritance, or kicked his dog.
Yeah, that does sound like something a rational person would do, but I stand by breaking up your sister and Bingley. He was much more in love with her than she was with him. She just was not good enough for him.
Mr. Darcy is heartbroken and leaves, but not before leaving a letter for Elizabeth.
Dear Elizabeth, Mr. Wickham is a liar, and he sucks. He spent all the money he was given, and then tried to scam my sister into marriage. Maybe I misjudged your sister, but based on how your family acts, I believed it was best at the time.
Oh, curse my pride and prejudice.
Months pass and Elizabeth takes a road trip with her aunt and uncle where they come across Mr. Darcy's estate.
Oh, let's get a tour.
He's not even here.
Oh, that's fine.
The house is amazing, and even more amazing is the way his employees respect him.
Oh, he's a great boss. So kind. I've never had such a respectful boss before. You know, he paid for my dog's vet bills once. Oh, hi, boss.
Miss Bennet. Mr. Darcy.
Hello. We are the gardeners.
You have a lovely
Lovely to
home.
meet you.
We should go.
No, please, stay. I insist.
Okay.
Please make yourself at home. I'll get you all some refreshments.
Oh, well, isn't he just wonderful? Oh, so gracious. Elizabeth, don't you agree?
Yes.
Elizabeth begins to grow fond of Mr. Darcy, but her time is soon cut short by another letter. Elizabeth, come quickly. Lydia's run away with Mr. Wickham.
Oh, not again. I gotta go.
Wait, where are you going?
None of your business.
Oh, okay.
After a long wait, Mr. Wickham finally agrees to marry Lydia.
Isn't it wonderful? My Lydia married.
Sorry, are we just going to ignore the fact that he ran off with her before he agreed to be married to her?
Do not take this from me.
I can't believe that Lydia got engaged before me.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, Mr. Wickham. Kick any dogs recently?
Elizabeth! Oh, it was such a wonderful wedding. And you know what? Mr. Darcy was there too. He paid for the whole thing.
He did.
Yeah, he even paid Mr. Wickham my dowry.
Well, that explains a lot.
Soon after the wedding, Darcy and Bingley return.
Miss Jane, I've missed you terribly. Will you please marry me?
Then why did you leave in the first place?
That was my fault, I'm afraid. My apologies for misjudging you. It won't happen again.
And yes, I will marry you.
Thank goodness. Oh, isn't it wonderful? My Jane engaged to be wed. Yes, dear. Our Jane engaged.
Elizabeth, though not engaged, also has a conversation of marriage.
I forbid you from marrying my nephew. What? Well, Darcy has been set aside for my daughter since they were children, and you are simply not good enough for him.
You don't just get to come into my house and insist that I don't marry your nephew. That's not how this works.
I absolutely can.
You know what? I'm gonna marry him even harder now.
Lady Catherine, of course, tells Darcy about Elizabeth's response.
I am sorry about my aunt. She told me how you responded to her threat, and I hope that you were serious. Elizabeth, will you marry me?
What? No insults about my family or status this time?
I thought I'd try something new this time.
Yes. I will marry you.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? My Elizabeth engaged. Yes, dear. Our Elizabeth engaged. Now all we need to do is marry Kitty off, and we'll be set.
I'm also here.
Oh, Mary, where have you been?
Are you serious? I've been here the whole time. Have you really not noticed?
And so, with 3 of 5 of their daughters married or engaged, the Bennets live happily. And Elizabeth and Darcy realized that they had been wrong in their initial impressions of each other.
So, that's basically the plot of Pride and Prejudice. Wow. So it's not just about marriage then. It's about marriage as a transaction versus marriage for love, while also making fun of the marriage market that Jane Austen would have lived within. It's about the roles that women had in Jane Austen's society and the ways in which that would influence the type of relationship these women felt that they could enter. It's about the differences in social class and wealth that would affect the internal biases that people had and how that would shape their perception of others as well as their perception of themselves and their own flaws.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, exactly. Are you sure you've never read this book before?
Nope, never heard of it until about 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Well, thanks for all your help. No problem.